Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the IHI Call Days, calls 4 and 5. My name is Sergio, and I will moderate in today's session on call 4, Expanding Transnational Knowledge in Minipigs, a path to reduce and replace non-human primates in non-clinical safety assessment. Before we start, I would like to remind you that this session is being recorded and it will be available on the IHI website as well as in our matchmaking platform. If you have questions, you can use the chat box on the right corner of your screen at any time, and we will answer them at the end of this presentation. The call topics are still under consultation of the with the State's Representatives Group and the Science and Innovation Panel. Therefore, all information it's regarding future IHI call topics is indicative and subject to change until call launch. You will find the final authorized version of the topic text on the Funding and Tenders portal. Today we have our colleague Salome, who is a scientific officer at IHI. So without further ado, Salome, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Sergio. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session, which is about the call for topic 1 proposal. In today's session, we will make a little introduction to IHI program, and then we will have the pleasure to have the industry representative who prepared the text with the rest of the industries, the topic text, because as you know, this call is a two-stage call, and the pre-identified consortium has prepared the topic text. So we will also provide information on proposal submission and evaluation, and we will give you some tips for writing a successful proposal. Today's session will not cover rules and procedures, as a dedicated webinar has been given yesterday, and you can find, or you will be able to find soon, the recording on our website. And next slide, please. So the Innovative Health Initiative is EU's new partnership in health between the European Union, represented by the European Commission, and the healthcare industry associations, represented by COSIR, which focuses on medical imaging, radiotherapy, health ICT, and electromedical industries, FPA, including Vaccines Europe, which focuses on pharmaceutical and vaccines, and Europa Bio, which focuses on biotechnology, and MedTech Europe, focusing on medical technology. So this is basically a continuation of the IMI2 programs for the ones who knew us before, but includes a much broader group as compared to IMI2. So regarding IHI's general objectives, our main objective is to turn health research and innovation into real benefits for patients and society. So we aim at delivering safe, effective health innovations that cover the entire spectrum of care, and in particular in areas where there is an unmet public health need. And we want to make Europe's health industries globally competitive. Regarding the Strategic Research and Innovation Agenda, as we call it, the SRIA, this is a document that details the areas where IHI should work and helps to guide IHI's decisions on which ideas should be then turned into call topics. So the focus is on cross-sectoral approaches to facilitate creation of new products and services in healthcare, and the goal is to lay foundations for development of safer and more effective healthcare products or solutions. Importantly, the work supported by IHI is pre-competitive, as there is an expectation for the industry to work together and share expertise and knowledge. So this is a two-stage call, and how does it work? So the call topic has been defined by the identified industry consortium. And basically, the industrial partners align themselves around a real shared challenge for industry and agreed to work together. And they also agreed on resources to be provided. So they prepared the topic text, which describes the impacts, outcomes, scope, why this kind of research fits under the IHI instrument, the industry contributions, and also the skills and expectations from the public sector applicants. So once the topic text is approved by the IHI governing board, the call, including the topic, is launched for proposals. From the moment the topic is launched, the pre-identified consortium steps aside, and we open the call for the applicants to either construct a consortium or join an existing one and prepare and submit a short proposal. So the public side consortia are typically universities, hospitals, regulators, patients organizations, small and medium enterprises, and so on. So all the submitted eligible proposals, short proposals, will undergo evaluation by independent experts. By the end, only one, the best rated proposal, will go forward to complement the industry consortium and move to stage 2. So it's very important to keep in mind that we only take the top ranked proposal, one public consortium only, and we invite them applicants to the second stage, where they will merge with the original industry consortium that prepare the topic text and work together to prepare the full proposal. Then, following the second round of evaluations, if the full proposal is found to be successful, the full consortium will be invited to sign the GA and start the project. So now it's the moment to, I will ask the topic writer, Mainken, to present her part, the scientific content and the expectations in the topic text. The floor is yours, Mainken.
Thank you very much, Salome, for providing the opportunity to pitch this topic today. So next slide, please. So the development of in vitro models for human safety assessment is challenging due to the complex biological responses in various organ systems, and it will take years, maybe even decades, before we reach a confident level where we will actually be able to replace animal studies with non-animal approaches while ensuring human safety. So overall, this upcoming project should be considered as an intermediate step to try to move away from the use of non-human primates during the journey towards non-animal approaches, since we do have a legal and ethical obligation to replace, reduce, and refine use of animals in research, including a specific focus on restricting the use of non-human primates. The challenge is that many of the new drug modalities are designed to engage with human targets with a very high specificity, which is a rationale for selecting non-human primates in the safety testing instead of using other non-rodent species, which are less comparable to humans in biology and physiological response. However, while there's quite a substantial translational knowledge generated in the non-human primate regarding these modalities, there are still many translational unknowns in the pig, which makes it difficult to select the pig as an alternative to non-human primates in the safety testing of human therapeutics. Next slide, please. So the key objective of this upcoming project are to advance biomedical research and development by generating background scientific data to turn minipigs into a viable and feasible alternative to non-human primates in key therapeutic areas with special focus on translatability, human versus minipig in the non-clinical safety assessment. And further, to characterize pig models for use in research and development of new therapeutics and innovative medical technologies. The knowledge generated in this project may facilitate innovative health solutions, improve disease understanding, and human predictions to the benefit of patients in areas of unmet need. Next slide, please. These objectives require a huge effort across various disciplines, and in order to reach the outcome, cross-sectorial collaboration is a must, since we need to implement and develop species-specific technologies, provide high-quality data, and ensure best practice in order to create up-to-date and sustainable solutions. Further, we need to share knowledge and expertise across sectors, since the industry currently does not have the needed know-how with regard to use of relevant biomarkers, technologies, and bioinformatics solutions, which can then be transferred from other species to the pig. We can all acknowledge the fact that new technologies often are outdated the minute they are launched, so new innovative solutions developed for pigs in this upcoming project may also be useful for other species or can be beneficial for certain patient populations. So for these reasons, an involvement of partners with relevant expertise from other sectors are needed. And here in particular, I would like to mention non-clinical regulators, small, middle-sized enterprises, new startups, research, and academia. With regard to the translational aspects, organizations with access to clinical data, for example, from hospitals and biobanks, are also of huge importance. Next slide, please. With regard to the scope of this upcoming project, we will compile and publish existing historical safety data in minipigs conducted in biomedical research and development. Further, we will evaluate the translatability of minipigs in human risk assessment following treatment with biologicals and new therapeutic modalities, and discuss future perspectives of the minipig with regulatory agencies, both based on the historical data and the newly generated data. We will also create more omics data in the minipigs to develop new translatable biomarkers and increase our disease understanding. We already have some gene expression data spread around in the various companies, but the aim is also to generate and compile proteomic and metabolomic data, as well as endocrine biomarkers in the minipig. We will also monitor physiological behavior of minipigs 24/7 in undisturbed animals using automated clinical data collection and analysis. We would like to further characterize the minipig immune system, and in relation to this, it's important to have access to validated reagents, assays, and biomarkers for immunological investigations. Finally, a project management team will set up systems so that all data generated in this upcoming project will be compiled, digitalized in shared databases, and published. Next slide, please. So we expect to obtain and share biological knowledge of the pig, thereby facilitating the development of innovative solutions for pig models used in the non-clinical safety assessment. Some of the knowledge and technologies from other species can probably be adapted to the pig and vice versa. Also, we expect to generate a regulatory pathway for drug safety assessment of biologicals and other novel therapeutic modalities in minipigs in alignment with the regulatory authorities. So this project provides the potential to impact future regulatory strategies. Another outcome is to obtain characterized and validated genetically modified minipig models, for example, humanized minipig models, again for use in non-clinical safety assessment. In addition, we are particularly interested in characterization and validation of the micropig, since one of the hurdles during early phases of pharmaceutical development is to produce sufficient amount of test article to conduct studies in minipigs, which weigh a lot more than the non-human primate. Another expected outcome is to investigate the utility of minipig as relevant toxicology species for immunosafety testing. Further validated biomarkers, antibodies, and in vitro immunoassays will be developed to characterize the immune system and assess the immunosafety of drugs in minipigs. Finally, an expected outcome is a development of minipig-specific technology for the collection of automated study data from validated medical devices, biosensors, software, and digital pins. Based on the generated data, we expect to develop machine learning and artificial intelligence-based tools to monitor abnormalities in behavior and physiological systems. Again, this may be applicable to other species as well. Next slide, please. So the increased translational knowledge in minipigs versus non-human primate and humans will allow us to reduce total number of animals and replace non-human primates with pigs without compromising human safety. Further, the translational knowledge obtained in this upcoming project can foster development and validation of future non-animal approaches, again, as an alternative to the use of non-human primate and humans, which are simply too valuable to use in the validation of non-animal approaches. Also, this upcoming project will improve our disease understanding, which can lead to new research pathways, which again can enhance the use of non-invasive technologies. If we use these new technologies to monitor behavior in animals, this can be considered a refinement initiative, as the animal will experience less stress since they are left undisturbed. These research pathways can also lead to new technologies and approaches in patients. The easy access to well-characterized animal models will also contribute to the sustainability and quality of biomedical research and development. Finally, optimizing cross-sector collaboration can accelerate medical innovation and ensure a sustainable and competitive biomedical industry, again for the benefit of patients and European citizens. Next slide, please. So what is needed from the applicant consortium? Within the area of digitalization, we need database constructors. In addition, we would like to collaborate with partners who have the technology to do automated digital data collection of normal physiological behavior. Also, we will need partners who have access to algorithmic tools for machine learning and artificial intelligence. Within the area of biotechnology, we need suppliers of genetically modified minipigs, validated biomarkers, imaging technologies, and within the area of immunosafety investigations, we would like to have partners with access to validated reagents and assays. We would also really appreciate to have regulatory advisors on board. In the industry consortium, we do have regulatory experience within the non-clinical area. However, in order to build sustainable regulatory strategies and reach the expected outcomes, we would need a running dialogue with regulatory advisors. Finally, we will need a management organizations which are experienced in public-private partnerships and who has experience with building and management of large databases and can assist in cleaning and uploading large biological data sets coming from various sources. Next slide, please. The industry consortium will provide components related to the animal experimental setting, for example, pharmaceutical drug candidates, drug products, animal units, experimental equipment, and laboratories. Also, the consortium have access to standard toxicology data and clinical safety endpoints, historical data, gene expression, some immunosafety biomarkers, and assays. The industry consortium can provide expertise within the non-clinical area, data science, regulatory expertise, immunosafety, omics evaluation, disease models, and devices. With regard to technology, we have a system called Standard for Exchange of Non-Clinical Databases, called SEND, which is a database with a standardized structure where digitalized non-clinical data can be uploaded to the FDA in a standardized way. In the SEND database, there is the possibility to build new domains, for example, omics and immunosafety data can be uploaded. This offers the opportunity to do all kinds of multi-study evaluations across species and within species. We also have access to a SEND visualization system and access to some device software. Next slide, please. The total indicative budget is of nearly 18 million euros, more specifically 17.9 million euros. 9.4 million is in-kind contribution coming from the industry consortium, which consists of more than 10 private companies working within the area of drug development. In addition, a patient organization are also contributing with in-kind contribution. IHI and the European Union intend to provide a maximum financial contribution of 8.5 million euros. Next slide, please. The duration of the upcoming project is estimated to 60 months. However, the final decision will be taken based on the full proposal made by the private-public consortium. Therefore, the preliminary outline of the upcoming project is really high level, but consists of various sequential phases. First, we need to share and evaluate existing data and identify knowledge gaps. And then we have to prepare for upcoming investigations. So there will be a phase with study planning, compound synthesis, method development, etc. This phase will be followed by the actual investigations conducted in various pig models. And lastly, there will be a phase where data have to be analyzed, reported, and published. We will be able to communicate and publish as the project progresses. For example, compiled historical data and method development can be published earlier. Next slide, please. So with this, I would like to thank you for your attention. I will be happy to take any questions related to this topic. And I would like to emphasize that this is really your chance to pose questions to the industry consortium. Following, it's not allowed to contact any of the partners in the private consortium, And the purpose of this is to provide all applicants with an equal opportunity to make a strong consortium and a competitive proposal. I can only encourage you to adhere to the draft topic text, and besides from that, do a lot of networking to make a strong applicant consortium. And if you have any questions at a later stage, please contact the IHI office. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mike. And you couldn't explain the situation better. So we are encouraging the persons following this webinar to ask questions, to write questions in the chat for the topic writer, as they cannot contact the members of the industry that have prepared the topic text until the outcome of the first stage is out there. You are not allowed to get in contact with the topic writer and the industry, the other industry representatives that participated in the writing of the topic text. So I will now continue my presentation. Yeah, so the questions, we will ask them at the end of the session. So I will continue with a few words about the proposal submission and evaluation. So applicants forming the public side of the consortium will have to prepare the short proposal after the official launch of the call for stage 1 of a 2-stage call. So we expect to receive a few applications, short proposals, and only one will be invited to merge with a pre-identified industry consortium to prepare the full proposal, and if successful, to move to the granting phase. So here are the elements to be prepared and submitted. It is a proposal template that has a part A, a part B, and an annex. So the part A contains general information on the short proposal, such as an abstract, the duration, administrative data per participant, and the total requested EU contribution to eligible costs. In part B, which is a document, a PDF document to be prepared by the applicant, has a limit of 20 pages. And as we said, it is uploaded in the form of a PDF document following the template downloaded by the applicants in the submission environment, which will be made available upon call launch. So a version of this document contains instructions, so please read them carefully when you prepare the proposal. And yeah, and something else is that part B contains 3 sections focusing on excellence, impact, and quality and efficiency of the implementation. And also these are the criteria that our experts will use to evaluate your proposal. So please make sure to read carefully the instructions and provide sufficient information to allow the experts do their job and basically make their assessment. So the annex is a document on participant type, where you need to provide the type of affiliation and stakeholder type, such as SME, hospital, patient association, and so on. And the template will also be provided in the submission environment. So a few words about the evaluation criteria. As we said, we have 3 criteria: excellence, impact, and quality and efficiency of the implementation. And each criterion contains sub-criteria. So as previously mentioned, the part B has 3 sections. These 3 sections: excellence, impact, and implementation. And the evaluation criteria will follow the same approach. So the independent experts will use these criteria to evaluate the short proposals. And you need to provide sufficient information to help them do their job. Please note that there is a threshold of 3 out of 5 per criterion, and an overall threshold of 10 out of 15. So to be the successful consortium that will move to the second stage, you do not only need to pass the threshold, but you also need to have the highest ranked proposal. So a few tips for applicants. It is very important that you read very well the topic text. This is the basis for everything. And the topic text is the key document against which the evaluation of your proposal will be done. So although the industry is yet to join, they will join at stage 2 of the preparation of the full proposal, already start thinking in a public-private partnership way. So why IHI is the right instrument for this kind of project? Why a private-public partnership element is how a private-public partnership element is considered in your proposal, and it will be important for its success. So please make sure that all requested information in the call text and template is provided, to allow the expert to do their job. Please also already start planning the regulatory impact of results that your project could generate, as these may require significant resources in terms of time and budget. Regarding how you are going to find partners for your project, there is no single magic way, but you need to combine all the ways that you can imagine. For example, please use your network with your context and the IHI Call Days participants. Use the EU funding and tender portal partners search tool, and also get in touch with your IHI national contact points. And of course, you can network on social media. We provide several links that can be useful for you. We put in place for you a platform which is called Be Too Much, and through this platform you can book your meetings in a very simple way. So you need to make yourself available. Look for partners on the participant or organization tab. Select your date, time, and attendees. You can add a message, and then you can send a meeting request and wait for a reply. So the IHI communication team has kindly prepared also a step-by-step guide on how to book a meeting. You can use this link to see how it works, but it's very simple and straightforward. So I believe this is my last slide. And if you have questions, this is the time, either for IHI or for the topic writer. Please use the chat box, and we will read your questions so we can reply to it.
Thank you very much, Maiken, and thank you very much, Salome, for this comprehensive presentation. So as my colleague said, now it's the time for you to ask your questions on the chat box, and we will reply to them. In the meantime, I would like to remind you that if you missed the webinar on rules and procedures that was held yesterday, you can access it through the IHI website on the events section. Okay, you can find there as well the PowerPoint presentation. At the same time, I would like to encourage you to use the B2Match platform to find partners and to complete your marketplace project idea. That is an excellent solution for you to find partners and to be able to present a successful project together. So the first question, Maiken, is why not also replace dogs with mini pigs?
Yeah. That's a really good question. And I can say that the industry already do a lot to replace dogs with mini pigs where it's possible. And this is especially with regard to the testing of small molecules and peptides where this is possible. But as it is for now, the industry use the non-human primates for the new therapeutic modalities. And there it's like with the mini pig, the dog, we do not have the current knowledge to actually consider the dog. So, so in this way, we would prefer to not to develop too much in translational knowledge with regard to those new modalities in the dogs, but go straight to the mini pigs, and therefore the dog is not included in this upcoming project.
So if I can add, it is very important to follow exactly what it is written in the topic text, which focuses on mini pigs. So yeah, we should ask the applicants not to expand in different areas than what it is mentioned in the topic text.
Very good. Thank you very much, both of you. Next question is, are there any particular pathologies that must be targeted in this project? Are there specific health topics that are not included in the scientific perimeter of this topic?
No, no, it's the focus is really on the animal models, and that can concern any pathology or disease or health topic within the industry. So with regard to development of new pharmaceuticals for the patient populations or European citizens, or new innovative health technologies, again, for the benefit of patients, any patient population, really. I hope that answered the question.
Yes, it does. Thanks. So in the meantime, while we wait for more questions, I would like to remind the audience that if you missed the first part of this info session, the recording will be also made available in the IHI website, as well as the presentations. Next question will be, could you please confirm that the project coordinator can be a private partner or a public academic partner? And is a particular expected ratio between private and public academic partner in the candidate consortium?
Okay, so I will give it a go, and then the legal team is also here to add if needed. So this is a co-leadership model. So we don't expect to have private necessarily a coordinator coming from the private or the public side. Traditionally is usually the public coordinator, a public coordinator, but this is something to be decided by the consortium itself. But of course, in the leadership, you need to capture, to reflect this private-public partnership. And we had the second part of the question, which was...
Is there a particular expected ratio between private and public academic partners in candidate consortium?
There is not a ratio, but of course, this is also a continuation of your first question, that this public-private partnership should be reflected in the consortium, and there is not a specific ratio.
Very good, thanks. The next question is addressed to Maiken. Does the development of new GM mini-pigs fall within the scope? I am aware that this can take a long time to do.
Yeah, that's true. It can take a lot of time to do. So the idea from the private consortium was really to take existing genetically modified mini pig models and then characterize those with regard to use in the human safety assessment. So I think it will take way too long to develop new genetically modified minipigs. So I think the focus should really be on the characterization of existing models to be realistic.
Very good, thanks. So the next question I think is addressed to our legal team. Is it possible for extra European partners, in example USA, to be part of the project? And if so, under which status and conditions?
Good morning. So we touched on this yesterday in the rules and procedures webinar. There's a couple of perhaps minor distinctions. Well, they seem small, but they're quite important distinctions to be made here. So technically, in terms of the getting into the actual project itself, anybody, any legal entity is actually welcome and eligible to participate. That's fine. So indeed, US-based entities are more than welcome to participate in the actual project. Where it gets more complicated is whether such entities are eligible for funding. So because the US was mentioned in the actual question, I'll use that as the basis for the response. So because the US and these non-EU and non-associated countries are not associated to the Horizon Europe project, they are not from the start eligible to receive funding. So very welcome to participate, able to participate. Funding, they don't automatically receive funding. It is possible in a very, very, very small, exceptional number of cases to consider such entities as eligible for funding if it can be shown that they're bringing something absolutely essential to the project that cannot be procured in the EU or associated country sphere. So what we would do is we elaborate on this quite a bit in the rules and procedures webinar that we had yesterday. So I would refer the querist to that webinar first, and then if there's any further questions, then please you can submit them through the applicant's mailbox, and we can answer more specific questions directly. But the key takeaway should be welcome to participate, but generally they don't receive funding.
Great answer, Desmond. Thank you very much. And we have a follow-up question. Could you confirm at least 2 different countries are needed and also a partnership with a private partner?
Okay. So that's again, I think we had 2 whole slides on this yesterday, the rules and procedures. So I'd refer to that, but just very, very briefly, yes. So for the actual applicant consortium, because this is the applicant consortium which goes through the first competitive round, then you essentially need a minimum of 3 entities, one of which has to be from an EU member state, and the other 2 are generally associated countries, but there is some flexibility there. So we would refer you to that. In relation to a private member, at this stage, at stage 1 competitive, you don't necessarily need a private member in that mix. So the applicant consortia that is going to prepare the short proposal could conceivably be composed of just public entities or universities or research organizations or whatever. And then obviously it's when then if they win through and they secure the first round place, then they would basically join with the pre-identified industry consortium, which would bring the private expertise, would also bring the in-kind, which contributes to the 45% eligibility criteria. And that's when the private members really get involved. But there's no restriction and there's no mandate on that. So the applicant consortia can indeed bring in private members if they wish, but they don't need them necessarily.
Very good. Thank you for your clear answer. I'm going to take the chance to promote a little bit the rest of the info sessions that we are holding this week. So we have a full week, as you can see here, from Monday to Thursday. So please, just if you didn't or you haven't, take the chance and join to our fantastic webinars. Another question for Michael, is the study of pain in minipigs of interest?
Yes, certainly it's of interest. Yes, and that's why we want this monitoring of animals 24/7 in order to be able to especially to monitor distress and pain. And we know there are a lot of things going on out there with regard to reading, mimic, and sounds, and so on. And this really has our interest.
Thank you very much for your answer. So with this question, I think we come to the end of this webinar. I would like to thank the three of you, Salome, Maiken, and our legal officer, Desmond, for their contribution to this info session. And for you, just remember that this recording is going to be available on our website. And if you have any follow-up questions, just remember to send them to the applicant's mailbox. Thank you very much and see you very soon.
Bye.